You're watching ICENET, independently covering New York Islanders hockey past and present, bringing you the tradition and nostalgia you know and love with a modern feel. This is where Islanders tradition and pride are always our number one. Built by passion for the orange and blue. Isles coverage. Taking a step into the future by reaching into the past. ICENET. Dynasties live here.
Determination and triumph with USA's exclusive national coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs, only on the USA Cable Network.
The New York Islanders meet the Edmonton Oilers in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, tonight on the USA Cable Network.
This is the USA Cable Network.
The memory of Steve Bozek on that April 10th, of the Los Angeles Kings and their shocking 6-5 overtime victory over Edmonton last year. The memory of losing in the playoffs to a team with 48 fewer regular season points. The memory, the force that has propelled the Oiler machine to an 11-1 record in the playoffs this year. First, it was the Winnipeg Jets, shot down by the potent Oiler artillery. Then the Calgary Flames, smothered beneath a record-breaking goal-scoring blitz. Finally, the Chicago Blackhawks, massacred by an Oiler gang that showed no mercy. The Oiler accomplishments in the playoffs of '83 have been mind-boggling. The Edmonton Oilers are ready for their first ever Stanley Cup final. The New York Islanders are entering their fourth straight Stanley Cup final, but their 1983 playoff parade has seen a few rainy days. Diplomacy was not in vogue when the Islanders took out the neophyte Washington Capitals. The hot New York rivalry simmered down after injuries helped eliminate the Rangers. And just last Saturday, the Boston Bruins provided the toughest playoff competition the New York Islanders had seen in years before they too were beaten.
The pressure is just unbelievable. You know, there is so much of a demand on us. You know, it's not like coming in the first year and saying, come on, boys, we might be able to win the cup if we play well. Now it's, if we don't play well, they're ready to throw us out of the building.
The Islanders own the Wales Conference Trophy, the Oilers the Campbell. But the table is not complete without Lord Stanley's special piece of hardware. The battle zone for Game 1 is here in Edmonton, Alberta. The Stanley Cup Finals begin next on USA. Game is brought to you by Lowenbrau. When you want the taste of a truly great beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrau. By Mobil 1, synthetic motor oil, the best engine protection you can give your car. By Toyota, who reminds you it's a good feeling to buckle up for safety. And by Levi's, jeans, cords, and shirts. For quality and style you can count on.
is the USA Cable Network.
Tuesday night in Edmonton, the three-time Stanley Cup champion Islanders took on the Oilers in Game 1 of the 1983 Stanley Cup Final. The usually placid Northlands Coliseum crowd was anything but on this night. Game 1 was supposed to feature the high-powered Edmonton offense, led by the great Gretzky. But instead, it was the Islander defense, led by the stopper, Billy Smith. 5.5 minutes into the first period, Dwayne Sutter scored. It was all the Islanders needed. From there, Billy Smith began his heroics, to the disbelief of the Oiler faithful.
At center, broken up by Coffey, and back comes Gary Curry, number 17. Centering it. Big save by Smith on Gretzky. Lost it to Messier. Shoots Smith to save. Rebound. Smith, another save on Lindstrom by Billy Smith. Now Lindstrom in front to Lowe. Backhander. Smith, a sprawling save on Kevin Lowe. And he smothered the rebound. More miracles from Billy Smith.
At the other end of the ice, Andy Moog made his share of big saves to keep the Oilers within striking distance. With the Islanders clinging to that one-goal lead, New York's Al Arbor and Edmonton's Glenn Sather did some clock watching, while goalies Smith and Moog shut the door. In the closing seconds, Edmonton was forced to pull Moog to add an extra attacker. That's when Islander defenseman Ken Morrow hit the open net from 80 feet out. And Game 1 of the '83 Stanley Cup Final was history. Once again, we're in Edmonton, Alberta, at the Northlands Coliseum. The Islanders and Oilers in Game 2 of the 1983 Stanley Cup Final. Next.
He was ready to play.
At no time in his career did Bill Smith appear more ready to play than in the 1983 Stanley Cup Finals. The only roadblock to the Islanders' fourth straight Stanley Cup was a Wayne Gretzky-led Edmonton Oilers team which had averaged more than 5 goals a game during the regular season. Smitty angered the Edmonton fans by using his stick on Gretzky early in the series, but he angered them even more by his play in the nets. Incredibly, Smitty held the high-powered Oilers to only 6 goals in the entire series, and the Islanders swept Edmonton 4 games to none. Not surprisingly, Smitty was named the playoff MVP, and also not surprisingly, he accepted the award in typical Bill Smith fashion.
By Wally Harris, he'll be joined by Swede Dock and John D'Amico as the two linesmen. And a look at the goaltenders. Billy Smith with his goals against average down to 2.84, 2 shutouts. This year's Stanley Cup playoffs, a record of 10-3. And at the other end of the ice, it'll be 23-year-old Andy Moog. His goals against average of 2.65, a record of 11-2 in the playoffs.
Glenn Anderson, a point of controversy today, all day with everybody about his ability to play in Game 2. We watched him in the warm-up, showed no ill effect. Skated there as he darted across the line. He jumped the gun and went offside. Edmonton opening with a flurry, much like they did last night, Jake. Of course, the Islanders have to know they cannot play.
Cutter plays it back of the net. It got away from Wayne Gretzky. The Oilers trying to come up the left side now. Anderson and Red Sutter got a piece of him. Anderson picks up the puck again. Lost it at the Islander line, but Huddy shoots one in. After Persson gives chase, a penalty call coming up as Red Sutter upended one of the Oilers who ended up in the net behind Billy Smith. The first penalty of the game goes to the Islanders. There's a break in the action. 17:24 to play in the opening period of Game 2 of the 1983 step.
To the whistle, takes the shot at Butch Goring, knocking him down. And he feels he has to guard himself. Ken Morrow moved up quickly. There's Butch Goring killing off a lot of precious time. 1 minute and 11 seconds remaining in Brent Sutter's tripping penalty.
The Oilers with a man advantage now. They break it over the line. Here's Gretzky stick handling. Gretzky turns, cuts in, shoots. Smith got a piece of it as they tried to set up Pat Hughes. Up Come the Islanders, 2-on-1. Brent Sutter to Billy Carroll. Carroll in deep, goes round behind the net. Trying to come out in front, got it to Morrow. Morrow shot one off the boards. The fans are yelling because Brent Sutter had collided with Moog a moment ago, and now the Oilers come out. Gretzky relays it to Coffey. Into the Islander end of the ice, cutting it on goal. It slips under Billy Smith, but he has smothered it for a face-off. A break in the action. Teams back at 6 aside. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs coming to you live from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Period. Paul Coffey off the boards to Honey. Honey dumps it to center ice, picked up by Ralston. They come over the line, 3-on-2. Back to Semenko, and Johnny scores! His first Stanley Cup playoff goal this year. Wade Semenko has the Oilers on top.
He paid the price, but he made a perfect shot. There's Semenko as he goes out through center ice. The ball picked up and dropped to him by number 24, Ralston. And Smith is beaten. Look at Dave Langevin on Semenko. Langevin, a tremendous body check. He knew it was coming, but he made the play anyway.
Well, the standing ovation for the Oilers, who have scored their first goal in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Morrow, a good defensive move. Kenny Morrow was a little shaky in the early part of the first period. He gave the puck away a couple of times. Missed a couple of checks. One of the Oilers walked right around him. That time, good defensive move as he broke up a pass. Yari Curry.
Curry was able to pick it off. Yari Curry sends Gretzky in on a breakaway. Coming right in, he shoots off the crossbar that goes up into the crowd.
The Islanders are caught napping at the blue line of Edmonton, and away he goes, Wayne Gretzky. But it was not to be, as Butch Goring argues with the referee. Gretzky rung it off the crossbar. Let's take a look. Gary Curry, there he goes. He knew it was a set-up play, and Curry spotted him. He waited for the puck at the red line and raced in all alone. Ken Morrow closed in, but there's the shot off the crossbar, up into the seat. And Wayne Gretzky is foiled here in the first period.
Sidesteps the check from Brent Sutter, then lost the puck. Wayne Sutter comes out of the corner, puts it in front, back to Johnson. He shoots, he scores! Thomas Johnson drills it home to tie it at 1.
Hustle by the Islanders, and they caught the Edmonton Oilers. From the puck, Wayne give him a hand. There's the pass to Thomas Johnson. Look at all the Edmonton Oilers. They're all on the far side, watching, standing, as Thomas Johnson rips one just above the catching mitt of Andy Moog, and it's tied at 1 apiece on the shot by Thomas Johnson.
Harry Curry cuts to the left wing, backhanded it to the opposite corner. Gretzky in after it, centered. Anderson cuts in, shoots over, a stop by Billy Smith. Anderson, who doesn't show any effects of a bruised knee, cut right in, and Billy Smith went down to make the save.
And as Dennis Potvin turned to go and get it, watch the move by Gretzky. Didn't touch it at all until he made the pass to Anderson. And when Anderson turned to backhand it, Smith went down to cover the low ice and pull the puck into himself. There he is.
Messier comes in on the left wing. Gave it to Lindstrom and put to Lindstrom, and a shot from off the stick hand of Billy Smith. He looks, and Anderson unable to set up Gretzky, who had cut toward the net. Here's Trottier. Ryan Trottier shoves it into the Edmonton zone. Nystrom picks it up, shoots, he scores! Bobby Nystrom puts it by Moog on the glove side, and the Islanders lead 2-1.
First major error by a goaltender in this system as he fights along the boards to get away from Kevin Lowe, and that shot went right over his glove. Andy Moog knew he blew it, and he's mad at himself. There's a good shot by Nystrom, right over the catching net, clearly missed by Andy Moog.
Good play by Trottier in the beginning to poke the puck ahead. Nystrom raises in, and it's 2-1. Here's Anderson. Gretzky. His centering attempt was cut off and cleared by Morrow to Nystrom, now to Goring. The whirling dervish from Winnipeg sends Nystrom in on the right side again. He centers the puck, that's cleared by Fogelin. Nystrom back to Morrow from the blue line. That changed direction after hitting Fogelin. Harry Curry chased in the corner by Goring. Janelli comes in as well. Lee Fogelin is there for Edmonton, and he has fallen on top of the puck. Face-off coming with the opening period. Into center ice, Cote is checked at the Islander line, and Potvin tried to send Bossy in right wing. He picks it up now, shoots, he scores! Mike Bossy! Right between the legs. Bossy early in the first period, in this period,
had tried to go in this time. The puck shot ahead by Potvin and right between the legs. Mike Crosby has lengthened the lead to 3-1 on that shot as he was left alone.
From Charlie Huddy, Coffey picks up the puck. Starts out of the right side. Coffey lunks it into center ice. Over the Islander line, coming in on goal. Coffey, Billy Smith reached out and has smothered the puck right on the doorstep. Smith just sliding out to Rob Coffey, who ended up in the corner and is just now. A pinch position all the way up the ice. Gets around Bush scoring, and as he wheels in on Billy Smith, he's on his backhand. Smith knows he can't get the puck over him. He goes down and spreads out, taking the puck away from the on-rushing Paul Coffey. Gretzky in to pick up the loose puck. Gretzky played it to the line. Now they get it loose for Curry on right wing into the Islander zone. Curry shots it. Can't hold on to it. Edmonton on track to make it 3-2 as Jerry Curry fires it home.
They played with perfection in the first game. Here's Jerry Curry. He let the shot go. Billy Smith misplayed it. Clearly misplayed it. The red light is on. The puck is in the net. Here's the shot from a bad angle. It hit Billy Smith on the inside of the right leg. He seemed to be off balance when the puck got to him, and it hit him and deflected between his legs.
Taken by Clark Gillies, and he has dumped it wide of Andy Moog. Islanders in the middle of player changes. Here's Messier, checks in his own territory. Bob Bourne picks it up, shoots. He scores! Bob Bourne steals the puck and puts it over the shoulder of Moog.
The game is mistakes. The team with the fewest generally win. And the Edmonton Oilers right here. Messier lost the puck. Out to Bourne, and it's over. Andy Moog's left hand again. Messier, as he comes out, is checked by Sutter to Bourne. Wayne Sutter took it away from Messier. Give it to Bourne, and it's in the net.
Around the boards. Wayne Sutter is the man who stole the puck. Got it out in front to Bourne to make it 4-2, and Wayne Sutter is just centered again. It comes back to Morrow. Morrow to Brent Sutter. He shoots both to save the rebound. He can't get there. Brent Sutter has scored. It is 5-2.
They'll take advantage of you every time. The experience of the Islanders. Right there, Edmonton coughed up the puck again. Brent Sutter stopped by Moog. Good stuff by Moog. But the rebound, nobody covering. And Brent Sutter is allowed the freedom in front of the net to pound the puck. In behind, right there, Edmonton gave it up. Shot by Ken Morrow. Stopped. Shot by Sutter. Stopped by Moog, and then the rebound.
There's Gordy Lane. Lane kicking it loose. The Oilers bring it over the line. Onside they roll. Jackson shot. Smith the glove save. Dropped it. But was able to cover up and freeze it for a face-off. There's a break in the action. We're at the midway point of the second period and our scores. The Islanders headed up left wing. Here's Lindstrom across the line. Lindstrom shot. Smith the chest save, and he holds it for a face-off. Lane ends up in the corner with Lindstrom. Sticks up a little. Overcome the linesman. Overcome Potvin and several other players. Try and get this separated. Just a little jostling. Tonelli and Lumley now exchange some words. Doesn't appear as if anything serious is going to break up. So with 7 minutes and 2 seconds left in the second period, we'll take
Dennis Potvin, you see the blood coming down from his nose as Dave Semenko made contact with the face of Dennis Potvin. Not a deliberate act. Did not seem to be deliberate. But you can see the redness around the face of Potvin. There's Potvin as he goes for the puck. He's stretched out. He's down low, and Semenko, in reaching for the puck, his stick rolled right up Dennis Potvin's and hit him in the face. Semenko opened the scoring back in the first period at 8:39. The big left winger, number 20.
But a minute to play, period number 2. Brent Sutter tied up on the boards. They'll freeze it for a face-off. It was 3-1 favor of the Islanders at the end of the first period. Edmonton got the first goal of the second period, only to have the Islanders come bouncing right back with a pair. Scored within 38 seconds.
Gretzky having words with Brent Sutter. A moment ago, Jake, they went into the corner. Brent Sutter got the hand up in intimidation. He pushed Gretzky in the side of the face. Gretzky retaliated, doing exactly the same thing, and now they're exchanging words as we get ready to drop.
And here he just lost it to Gretzky, and Billy Smith down, got his left skate on it, the puck out in front of the net. Messier shoots, he scores! Anderson, Anderson for Edmonton, and it's 5-3.
Just got a piece of that shot, sending it around the board. As it's kept in, it's in the feet of Gretzky. Anderson with Billy Smith down, Thomas Johnson down, lifts it into the top of the net, and the fans go wild here at the Northland Coliseum. There's the save by Smith. Before Thomas Johnson could get to Anderson, he put it in over Smith.
They come to center ice, and spearing going on as the Oilers move in. Ralston got it to the corner to Lumley out in front of the net. There's Lowe. He shoots. Oh, what a stop by Smith. Billy Smith just committed larceny, robbing Kevin Lowe.
He did just that, Jake. Lowe went to... There's the backhand shot across. It missed the net. Lumley in the corner makes the pass, and right here, Kevin Lowe goes to the backhand, and Billy Smith held his ground, did not move. You see him with it in his glove saying, I got it. You're not going to get it back. As he takes it off the backhand attempt by Kevin Lowe.
Including the 6th game of the series. Brent Sutter has shot the puck into the Edmonton zone. It comes out in front. There's Brent Sutter. He scores! Brent Sutter and Wayne Sutter did the forechecking job, and it is 6-3. And the kids from the nearby community of Viking, Alberta, have struck fear into this crowd of 17,498.
They can now breathe a little bit easier. Right here, look at the move by Sutter. A quick backhand shot. Let's see the play build up. Edmonton relaxed just for a second. Coffey was victimized along the boards. Charlie Huddy was also caught up the ice as Edmonton tried to press an offensive play. And the Sutter brothers team up and take it away. Brent Sutter.
The Edmonton zone. Charlie Huddy chases it. So does Billy Carroll. It peels off, and Huddy plays it to Messier. Messier had it stolen, and Goring fires it wide of an empty net. Raises his stick over his shoulder and said, I don't believe it. The time has run out. What's scoring gives us a little levity in the last couple of seconds of this game. The Islanders are out to mob Billy Smith and glad hand for one another, and they've just been doused with coffee cups coming out of the stands. But they'll not worry about that at this juncture. All kinds of things being thrown in their direction as they head for the dressing room.
19 seconds remain in the period, Jake, from the Islanders. The first big error by the Edmonton Oilers, and the Islanders capitalize. There's a shot by Bossy. Good stop by Moog, and the rebound. Keller moves in and wrapped it between his legs. With 19 seconds remaining, Keller gets his 3rd goal of the playoffs. A big one, a disheartening goal for the Edmonton Oilers. They've outplayed the Islanders, outshot the Islanders here in the first period, but the Islanders, it's a good thing they didn't call the penalty, Jake. The Islanders, on their side, they benefit. What a hustle they put on from the drop of the puck here in the 3rd period. Looking more like the Islanders in Game 1 and Game 2. Stefan Pearson, he trapped the puck, ripped a tremendous shot. Look at Langevin and Bourne. They flipped a coin as Charlie Huddy tried to get in to take it away. There's the puck in front. Langevin interferes with Charlie Huddy, and in goes the puck, and Bob Bourne, who leads the Islanders in points in the playoffs, gives the Islanders a go-ahead goal, his 8th of the playoffs, and the stands of the people show their appreciation. There he is. What a happy Bob Bourne. What a happy Islander. We've seen it so often. The Islanders, who were laying in the weeds in the first 2 periods, they couldn't be found, have come to life. Brian Trottier, what a great second effort to get the puck to Ken Morrow. Look at this shot. Inside the lower left-hand goal post. There's the play by Trottier as he got the puck to Ken Morrow. His wrist shot beat Moog. Not a good goal for Moog to allow, but it's in. It did not go in that far into the corner. It was closer to the center of the net. But a happy Ken Morrow as he bounced up and down after scoring. There he goes to the player's box. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile. The Islanders pound it into the net. Bourne, Sutter, Brent Sutter, and Dwayne Sutter. They do it again. There's Bourne around Fogelin. Puts it out in front. Moog got a piece of it, but the backhand shot by Brent Sutter. The rebound laid there, and Dwayne Sutter hammered it into the lower right-hand corner before any of the Edmonton Oilers could cover on him. They've done it again. There's the shot, the rebound, and it's in behind. Good reflex action by Dwayne Sutter from in close, and there's the message. It's in the net. Yay for us. 3:17 remaining, and the Islanders lead 4-1. Potvin took the shot, and Brent Sutter, standing directly in front of Andy Moog, got in front of it. It deflected off his leg or his skate and went in behind. It has not had any effect on the hockey game, but the Islanders love it. Their fans love it. There's the shot. There it is off the left skate of Brent Sutter, and it's in the net. 5-1.
To yearbook to study some.
Everyone's asking what's happened to the Edmonton Oilers and what's happened to Wayne Gretzky. Because of Gretzky's lack of production, the Oiler machine has come to a sputtering halt. His teammates have failed to pick up the club. In addition, most of the effectiveness of the Oiler offense has been destroyed by the experience and psychology of the Stanley Cup champion Islanders. The man chiefly responsible for the dry Oiler well has been Islander goaltender Billy Smith. Smith has been the dominant force in the New York attack in games 1, 2, and 3. The Islanders in game 3 until 5 minutes into the third period when Bob Bourne shoveled in a rebound to make it 2-1 New York. Then 70 seconds later, Ken Morrow's insurance blast from 50 feet out put the Islanders on the brink of a sweep. We're at the Nassau Coliseum for Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals as the Islanders go for their 4th straight Stanley Cup. Next on USA.
A blast from Brian Trottier, and the Islanders strike first. There's Fogelin as he tried to break up the pass from Clark Gillies. But as Andy Moog moved across the net, there he is out behind the net. Fogelin missed the pass. Brian Trottier did not. Clark Gillies set him up. There's Gillies, quickly moved in behind the net, made the play, and Brian Trottier, with his 8th playoff goal of the season, has made it 1-0 for the New York Islanders. They strike like lightning. They've done it again. As Edmonton, still reeling from the Brian Trottier goal a moment ago, are caught in their own end of the ice. Charlie Huddy after Bob Nystrom, and all alone, unprotected, is John Tonelli. Look at the hustle by Nystrom. Look at the one move by John Tonelli, and it's 2-0 as the Islanders move in quickly. Bob Nystrom knew exactly where to put it. John Tonelli knew exactly where to be. Ralston moved in behind John Tonelli, but he was not quick enough. And John Tonelli, 7th goal of the playoffs, gives the Islanders what they wanted, a 2-0 lead.
Nystrom the only assist, and again, as with Trottier, it is the first goal for John Tonelli in this final series against the Edmonton Oilers, but a big 2-0 lead. The goals 43 seconds apart.
The offensive mind of the Edmonton Oilers. Jerry Curry was way in deep, as was Gretzky, and they were caught, all of them, when Brian Trottier laid this perfect pass to Mike Bossy. He's away and running from center ice. No one to catch him. And that low shot between the legs of Andy Moog. 3-0 now as the Islanders explode better than halfway through the first period. Pinpoint pass by Trottier to Bossy, and as Andy Moog makes the first move, watch the left leg of Andy Moog. He shot it out. Bossy put it right between his legs. His 17th goal. The master has struck for the third goal here in the first period.
This whole thing started at 11:02 with Trottier's goal on a power play, then Tonelli at 11:45, now Bossy at 12:39. The span of 1 minute and 37 seconds. It is.
They went to left. They gambled everything. The Edmonton Oilers knew they had to do it. And when you do, you leave yourself open. All players for Edmonton were deep in the Islanders' end of the ice. And away they came. The sorrow is showing on Edmonton. They gave it a good try. But Ken Morrow, as he's done so often, playing his position perfectly, stole the puck. He's tired. He's trying to get out of the end. He gains the red line and then lets it fly right in the middle of the net. Dead center. Ken Morrow's shot, his 5th goal of the playoffs, has put the game almost out of reach of the Edmonton Oilers. 1 minute and 9 seconds as Ken Morrow lets fly to the open net, and it's in the net. 4-2 now for the New York Islanders. Very close call, Jake. Edmonton were all around the net. It looked as though they were moving in, getting ready to cock the hammer and let go. But Morrow, so often, he plays his position perfectly, and the puck comes to him.
How sweet it is, that Midas touch for Kenny Morrow. You think back to the gold medal, Lake Placid, the Olympics of 1980, and consecutive Stanley Cups with the Islanders. He's headed for number 4. Al Arbour up and down the bench, Jakes. You know what he's telling them? Get out on the ice and finish the game, but remember something, Edmonton can score. He knows you do not take anything for granted. Sitting down on the right side of the bench of the Islanders is that team. They can score goals. Al Arbour knows it. The Islanders know it. They're deflated now, but they're against the wall in a corner. They'll come out fighting. So much has been said about the maturity of the Edmonton Oilers and how much they're learning in this series. It'll be interesting to see how they approach the 80 games in the regular season next year. There's Al Arbour with the hand signals. Just play, just move the puck, get it into the Edmonton end of the ice. Don't fool around with it in your own end would be his instructions at this point. Andy Moog is back in goal for Edmonton.
Everybody in the building on their feet, Jigs. 1 minute and 9 seconds remaining.
As play gets underway, Mike Bossy fires it into the Edmonton zone. Wide of Moog. They have 60 seconds remaining in Stanley Cup playoff game number 4. The clock ticking down. The final seconds as Langevin clears it out of his own zone to center. And there's Charlie Huddy. Charlie Huddy ran into Trottier outside the blue line. Now Bossy picks it up, takes a look. Fires it to the open wing. Coffey with 40 seconds left. Got it back into the Islanders zone. And without Trottier to Keller. They volleyballed it around a little bit. And now it's cleared to the right side for Coffey. Offside. It was delayed and cleared into center ice. Picked up by Trottier. He's into the Edmonton zone with Keller. The pass was there. Keller poked at it and went off Bold stick hand. Andy Keller. Back to the Edmonton end. Recovered the puck. Then was taken to the boards. Forced to freeze it. The puck comes loose with 13 seconds left. Anderson can't pick it up. We have 10 seconds left. The Islanders are going to win the Stanley Cup in a sweep of the Edmonton Oilers. Here's Gretzky with a shot. Billy Smith, the glove save. On it, 2 and a half. 6 go up in the air. This game is history. And the Islanders have won the Stanley Cup for the 4th consecutive time in a sweep. A year ago over Vancouver. A sweep tonight over the Edmonton Oilers. And congratulations being given to one another. They as a team overcame adversity too. You think back to the season they had, there were times when you said, what's happened to the New York Islanders? Well, when they put the money on the line, 18, they came through again.
They did. They've done it before, Jake. They're a tough hockey team. There goes Billy Smith to the dressing room, and he has been just announced as the Conn Smythe winner. How could you not pick him with all of the great hockey players they've had? played against. And there in the center right, wow, you see Billy Smith headed for the Islander dressing room. He does not take hand in the postseason handshake, but his teammates do, and you see them congratulating the Edmonton Oilers. That's Billy Smith's locker, his stall in the dressing room. You saw the graphic. Has been named the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. He's getting that heavy chest protector off. He'll get rid of those goal pads as quick as he can as well. By the way, throw a water bottle or two over himself. You have to feel, Jake, a little bit for the Edmonton Oilers. They came in, they thought they were prepared, and for all of the reasons they felt they could beat the New York Islanders. They had all of the reasons for thinking that. They had walked through the Campbell Conference. They had walked through the playoffs. But when they run up against the tough defense of the New York Islanders, it was too much. The old adage about the best defensive team generally takes the Stanley Cup. There it is. Ryan Trottier waving over it. Islanders making 4 in a row, just as the Montreal Canadiens had done from 75-76 to 78-79. And now the president of the National Hockey League, Ronnie Ziegler Jr., is there to present the trophy to the Islander captain, Denny Potvin. And it's home again on Long Island for the 4th consecutive year. 18. It would almost appear that nobody's going to be able to take it away from them, Jake, but they have been outstanding. They go back, and when they started against the Washington Capitals back in early April, everybody felt, a lot of people felt, that if they continued to play the kind of hockey that they were playing during the regular season, that the Washington Capitals would claim victory over the New York Islanders. It was time for them not to have the Stanley Cup. But they turned the tide on everybody. They got together. They decided that they wanted it bad enough. They decided to make the sacrifices that it takes to win the Cup. They knew what the sacrifices were. They were willing to do it. As the Cup is carried by each member of the New York Islanders, quite an honor, quite a feeling when they look back, they reflect back, and think back of the long 80 games. The cheer behind us is the public announcement that Billy Smith has just been awarded the Conn Smythe Trophy as the best and most outstanding player in the National Hockey League playoffs. There is Happy Al Arbor. 4 straight Stanley Cups as he heads to the dressing room to share all of that with his teammates. Ryan Trottier, Dwayne Sutter doing a dance in the center ice area. John Pickett, of course, he'll join the team down in the dressing room to congratulate each member. Proud of the fact that John Pickett has been chairman of the New York Islanders through 4 straight Stanley Cups. He actually rescued the team. There he is with the captain, Dennis Potvin. What a standout in the playoffs for Dennis Potvin. Did not have a good season, but more than made up for it in the playoffs. The great old Stanley Cup. Only the Montreal Canadiens have won it more consecutive times. The Islanders in 4 straight times. That's Greg Gilbert with the cup. He is as much a part of it as Mike Bossy. That's the way the Islanders feel about their teammates. Everybody shares equally in the glory of winning it. It all stretches back to early October. At training camp, that's what the players talk about. They talk about getting ready, playing the season, and they all have the same thing in mind. Every member of the 21 teams to win the Stanley Cup. And it's over here tonight. Sitting along with me, a gentleman that has a lot to do with the New York Islanders and the Stanley Cup. We'll get to him when we get back. You're watching Stanley Cup final action on Sports Channel. With me at this time, Fran Purcell, and we're going to get to Fran Purcell, but we're going to tune in on the Conn Smythe awarding let's go to the Conn Smythe.
It's always a pleasure to reward excellence and a pleasure to introduce the president of the National Hockey League, John Ziegler, who will present the 1983 Conn Smythe Trophy to Billy Smith of the Islanders.
David, you know, in a series that really featured superstars, it's very tough to excel in that competition. But there was no question as to Billy Smith. And I think from the beginning to the end, Bill, we were very proud of you for hockey, the excellence you showed. You led your team. We're very proud to present you the Conn Smythe Trophy. You really deserved it. And I know it's a team award, but you really led this team to this victory against an excellent hockey team, the Edmonton Oilers.
Thank you very much. And all I got to say is there's probably a lot of people back in Canada will be turning over in their bed with me winning this tonight.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. To me, it was the dream matchup, Dave, as everybody called it.
Shorter dream than a lot of us thought.
Well, of course. And I think the reason that it was shorter than anybody thought was this fellow right here, and that's why he deserved the trophy.
Okay, John,
he took the game away from him.
I know you'd like to congratulate the other members of the Islanders. I want to just ask a couple of questions of Billy Smith. You mentioned you related to the controversy that you seemed to cause. Tell us about the major penalty to Anderson.
Well, I did the same thing that Gretzky did to me to draw 5 penalties out. When I hit Gretzky in Edmonton, he rolled around and cried like he was dying. So when he hit me tonight, I said, hey, I may just well do the same thing. So that's what I did. I threw myself on my back and I squirmed. Incidentally, he got 5 minutes. So all I want to tell the people in Canada and all over the world, 2 can play that game.
After Game 3, I asked you who you thought should win this. You named Bob Bourne, you named a few others, but those of us who are close to this trophy suspected you'd be here to be the winner.
I'm very pleased to win it, and let's face it, I did want to win it, but I also wanted to bring attention to other teammates on my team that I thought excelled when they were needed. Like when Brian Truddy was out, nobody carried this team more than Bobby Bourne. Penalty killing, Butchie Goring, Billy Carl. You know, they're on our specialty teams, and people don't give them the credit for what they really do out there, and that's what upsets a guy like me.
Well, John, proof of the team aspect related to the Islanders is that they won 4 Stanley Cups, and there are 4 separate winners in the last 4 years of this trophy. Our thanks to you, John, and our congratulations to Billy Smith, and we'll have plenty more celebrating to do in the Islander dressing room as our Stanley Cup playoff coverage on CBC continues.
Jakes McDonald in the Islander dressing room. Butch Goring, they refer to him as the catalyst. He was here for the first. It was that trade that they look back to. The champagne any better this time than the first time around?
Well, I don't know if it's any better, Jakes, but it's a big thrill this year. You know, everybody kind of counted us out during the year. We didn't have an Islander year according to everybody else's expectations, but we said we could turn it on when we had to, and I think we proved to beyond a shadow of a doubt that we can turn it on, and we got a terrific hockey team. I want to commend Edmonton Oilers. They had a terrific year. We beat them 4 straight, but as you know, that was tough 4 games, the toughest 4 games maybe we ever played. So congratulations to them on our super year, and good for us.
Butchie, again, congratulations. Enjoy the festivities here. Down to the studio to Stan Fischler.
Thank you, Jags. We may have the greatest coach in the history of hockey here, and now you're smiling. I remember you weren't smiling the other day. I said, this guy...
Then, 43 seconds later, Nystrom to Tonelli, and it's 2-0 Islanders. Then, 54 seconds later, Trottier, look at this pass, to Bossy, 3-0 Islanders. But Edmonton came back. It's now 3-2. 1:09 left in the game. Kenny Morrow, 90-footer, open net. 4-2. Islanders win it. There's the guy. 24 saves for Billy Smith. Now 73-24 lifetime in the playoffs. And he holds Edmonton to only 6 goals in 4 games.
Was there any special strategy that you had going into the 3rd period with Edmonton coming back so strong?
Well, we didn't want to lose our composure. We wanted to go after them. We were a little tired, but we wanted to go after them and try to create, you know, not wait for them to come to us, try to create some things. But we were a little tired at times, and we let them come to us a little bit too much, but we hung tough. That's the important thing. We didn't get rattled. We hung tough, and we got our break, and we scored that insurance goal, which is, I'll tell you, just lifted a 100-pound weight off my head.
The man with all the character that epitomizes the Islanders, the coach, Al Arbor. Now to Richie Powers.
Well, I've seen everything. We're back here again at Dr. G's. That's right. What are you going to do to the Cup, and what are you going to do the next year?
We're planning the party for the 5th one next year right now. Smitty's the greatest, the team's the greatest. These guys deserve it. They're going to go 6-7. There's no stopping them. There's no stopping them.
Just because you want them here, right?
Hello.
What's going to happen tomorrow?
Tomorrow, they're going to have another parade. We'll do it all over again. Believe me, these guys deserve a break. They can take a little vacation. That's it. Next year, we'll kill them.
Super, Billy. Hey, thanks, everybody. We'll throw it back to you, Stan. Yeah, man. Yeah. Take it away, Stan.
All right, Richie, back here in the Islander dressing room. This is what it's all about. The trophy is safely ensconced in the room now. Dave Langevin is with us. You've had a sip out of it. Congratulations.
It's super because, at the beginning of the series, there's a lot of injuries, and it just showed the character of this team to keep fighting back no matter how bad the odds were. And we never doubted ourselves, and again, we have the Stanley Cup.
How bad was the knee, Dave, going into the finals when you finally did return?
Oh, geez. Every game it felt worse, and I was starting to get cramps in the knee and back of the legs, and the days off I could hardly walk, but who cares now? I could sit all summer now.
That's right, and enjoy it, my friend. Congratulations.
Thanks,
again.
James.
As you can tell, the champagne has been flowing here. Dave Langevin, just one of many. We're going to get Mike Bossy, Brian Trottier, Billy Smith when he returns. I know you've already heard from him, but we're going to ask a couple of other questions. But now down to the studio to Stan Fischler.
Thank you, Jiggs. The guy who outscored the great Gretzky, Kenny Morrow. He's a defenseman, but he also gets goals. Kenny, your feelings about this great triumph?
Unbelievable. I'll tell you, we had a lot of critics this year, and I think we silenced them, and I just can't thank the guys enough. They had a super year, and they really came through in the clutch.
Tell me about that empty net goal.
Well, I think I'm going to be put on a specialty team now when the goalies are pulled, because I got 2 open netters against Edmonton. But they had 3 guys in around our net, and the puck squirted loose. I saw an opening, and I went up ice, and when I got over the red line, I saw one guy was standing right in front of me, and I don't know how I got by him, but it went right in the middle, just like the other one.
Kenny, how much were you hurting in this game?
Not too bad. My knee was sore the other day at practice, so I didn't practice too much, and I was just worried about losing my conditioning. But when you're out there during the game, your mind is so totally on the game that you don't think about how hurt you are.
When I tell my son Ben, who is 11 years old, about character, I said, watch the Islanders, watch people like Kenny Morrow who are playing hurt. Now tell me something. How does this compare with the other 3 cups?
Well, I think you just really can't compare cups, but this one I think by far was the toughest, especially the last 2 rounds. We beat 2 of the top teams in the league, and especially this last series, with Edmonton, to shut them down 4 games in a row is just unbelievable.
Okay, Kenny Morrow, we'll be back with Jiggs McDonald and locker room action in just a moment.
This is John Pickett Jr., the man who saved the franchise and has seen 4 Stanley Cups. You must be very, very proud of this hockey team. First of all, congratulations as well.
Well, thank you, Jiggs. I certainly am proud of them. As I was telling you earlier, I don't know how you could write the script to sweep this great team that Edmonton has in 4 straight, keep Gretzky from scoring 1 single goal, let the New York Riders have fun with this one, because there's going to be a lot to write about, I would think.
All the drama is
great team.
What do you do for an encore? I know you're asked that every year.
We're going to try like hell to top it.
Well, we look forward to next October. Thank you for coming by, and again, congratulations.
Great, thank you very much.
The man, as I said, has saved the franchise, a very happy individual. Some of the cup is still making its swing around the dressing room here. We've got Thomas Johnson back here. We've got several of the others. Ed Westfall, I believe, is still up in the broadcast booth. Let's join him. Eddie?
Thank you, Jiggs. And with all the fun you guys are having down here, I've got a special guy who's been an Islander fan since day one. And with all the hoopla that goes on behind the Stanley Cup, you had to sit on the fence, Fran Purcell. You had to make a lot of plans that were so iffy, you didn't know what day you were going to make them. You have a parade to do. Give me some of the ideas that you had and some of the problems that you faced with the team. Maybe they'll win, maybe they won't.
Well, you don't want to jinx anybody, Eddie. That's the big thing. So we had to do some planning, but it worked out very well. We're going to have the parade on Sunday. Be Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and I think everybody will enjoy.
What's the route? What kind of a route?
We're going to start by Oak Street, by Hofstra University. It'll be somewhat similar to last year, although I think it'll be a bigger parade. And we're going to go down the Hempstead Turnpike there, And I think everybody will enjoy it, Eddie. But we've been sort of sitting on the fence, and this is a great victory. And I think the entire management, John Pickett and Al Arbor and Bill Torrey deserve a great deal of credit, as well as the players themselves.
I know you enjoy the hockey. Did you think for a minute that the Islanders would sweep a team like the Edmonton Oilers?
No. When you figure that Wayne Gretzky was shut out, it's just inconceivable that could happen. But the Islanders played super. I think naturally everybody looks for the offense, but the defense was absolutely super.
We often hear about the identity that the Islanders bring to the area, Nassau County, actually all of Long Island, Suffolk County. What really does that mean to a community or the island in general, winning Stanley Cups and bringing that recognition?
It means a lot more than anybody realizes. Just their impact here has been absolutely unbelievable. And now, Eddie, we look forward to number 5 next year.
County Executive Fran Purcell, we thank you for coming by. Let's go back down and join Stan Fischler.
Thank you, Eddie. I'm going to have the captain of the 4th straight Stanley Cup winner, Denny Potvin, right after this message. Here, the Islanders won 16 straight series in the playoffs. They have won their 4th straight cup, and the man, the captain, the courageous leader of the team, Denny Potvin. And Denny, you are now beyond Doug Harvey. You have done things that Bobby Orr never did. Only 2 cups or 4 for you. You may be the greatest defenseman of this greatest of all teams. What's going on inside?
A tremendous amount of pride, Stan, I have to tell you, because this team is the best team I feel that has ever skated. And I think I'm quoting you.
Denny, the feeling going into that 3rd period, a lot of people were on pins and needles. What was going on in the Islander dressing room?
It was a little uncomfortable, I have to tell you, because I don't think that we felt that strong. I think we had a little bit of doubt. We felt that it was probably going to be a tight one all the way through. But I tell you, if it's going to be a tight one, you can put your money on the Islanders. And we went out there and we had to shut them down and try and, piece together a goal at any time of the period. And we wanted to just win the 3rd period. And as it turned out, Kenny Morrow comes up big when there's no goalie in the net from about 150 feet.
Denny, I read today you said that it would be almost impossible for the Edmonton Oilers to come back, and I said, uh-oh, that might be a jinx. But you knew what you were talking about. What were you thinking when you said it?
We're ahead 3-0 in the series. I cannot be diplomatic. I can't be conservative. I can't be diplomatic. They have to win 4 straight. The 4th game is in our building. We're going well. We're strong. We're fairly healthy. And if we're not healthy in the knees or anywhere else, we're certainly healthy mentally. And I knew that a confident, almost cocky kind of comment was going to be a positive sort of asset to our club. And I felt very positive about it. So I just went in wanting to feel positive and straightforward.
Denny Potvin, the symbol of the Islander greatness. And now back to Jiggs McDonald.
Thank you, Stan. As you see, the Sutter brothers have arrived on the scene. Congratulations, guys. When did you realize it was all wrapped up, Brent?
Well, when Kenny scored that goal, it was a tough game all the way, and I was very happy we won.
You guys came together with Bobby Bourne late in the season. Was the injury to Clark Gillies what really turned the line into what we saw in the playoffs, or was it something else? Determination, maybe?
Well, I think we all realized, the whole team, that playoffs were coming around. We all had to do our jobs and help the team out as much as we could. And
get a little helping hand from Mike Bossy.
Yeah, and we played well as a line, but the whole team played well. We'll take the credit as a line, but I'll also give the credit to our whole team because we played super as a team.
Don't run away. I want to talk to the elder Sutter for a minute. What's going to happen to this fuzz on your face now, Dwayne?
Brent, it's coming off right away. It's right away.
What's the feeling like going through right now when you think of the folks back home in Viking and all those people in Edmonton that were yelling at you? All right, Brent.
It feels great, Jakes. It feels great, doesn't it, buddy?
With a mouth like mine,
hi, Kathy. Hi, Kathy Belbo.
All right, keep talking to me now. Don't run away.
It feels great, to beat a team as good as Edmonton, and now that it's our fourth cup, we have to be recognized as one of the best, and that's what we are, one of the best.
No question about that. Richie, what's happening over there, Dr. G's?
Well, as I said before, I've seen everything. I've been down to the sports this road an awful long time, but nothing beats this. It's now after 11 o'clock. People have been here since 4:30, and they're still walking around. And the plan is to stay until tomorrow at 4:30 and then have lunch. Well, from Dr. G's, 4 years in a row, running out of voice. Back to you, Jiggs.
Thank you, Richie. A guy who also epitomizes the Islanders' courage. Bobby Nystrom. Will talk to him in just a moment. He comes through in the clutch, Bobby Nystrom. And Bobby, you were on the ice when Kenny Morrow put it in the open net. Tell me what was going through your mind from the moment he got the puck.
Well, originally I was, they had the puck in our zone for a long period of time, and it seemed like there were so many of their players out there. But when we started skating down the ice, I expected Kenny to give the puck to either Johnny or myself, and then when he shot it in, I said, Kenny, what are you doing? And I didn't realize the net was wide open, and he put it in the net, and I was just thrilled. I really didn't realize the net was open. I figured we were on a 3-on-2, and we were just going to try to go in and keep it in their zone. But when I saw that puck go in the net, it was just fantastic.
A lot of you people do not know that Bobby Nystrom was playing hurt. He was injured in the second period. What happened?
Well, I gave the pass to Johnny, and I broke for the net, and Linsman was sort of hooking me, and I sort of fell over the goaltender, and I hit the back of my head into the goalpost, and I sort of lost it for a little while. I couldn't focus my eyes, and I was getting like a little flashing in front of my eyes. But I stayed in the dressing room, and they gave me some oxygen and some ammonia, and things cleared up, and I was a pretty good cheerleader in the third period.
Bobby Nystrom and all you fans, when this series started, the great so-called genius you're looking at said it would go 7 games. I thought it would go 7 games. What did you think?
Well, truthfully, Stan, I didn't really feel that we would sweep them, but, when we won that first game and Smitty just frustrated them, I really felt that, hey, we'll go for the second, we'll go for the third, and you just play it one game at a time. But when we went into the series, we had heard so many stories. Oh, Edmonton is awesome, and they're, J.P. Parise told me that they were just tremendous, and you start to think a little bit. But our guys came through. Just a great group of guys. Gosh, they worked hard. Guys came up with super big efforts. Bobby Bourne, Billy Smith, the Sutters, everybody. And it's just really thrilling to win the fourth one. Better than any other one.
There isn't a greater guy on the team than the man on my right, Bobby Nystrom. We're going to go to Jiggs McDonald back in the dressing room.
All right, Stan, the man beside me has another Stanley Cup winning goal to his credit. Michael Bossy, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Jiggs.
Your thoughts on the series and shutting down Wayne Gretzky, if you will.
Well, I think obviously shutting down Wayne was certainly a reason that we won. Billy Smith's goaltending, Al Arbor's coaching, just the play of all 20 individuals that we have on this team was certainly something that we should be very proud of.
You're the center of a lot of attraction out there. Every series, they seem to put somebody on you. This series, you got jostled around, grabbed an awful lot. More so in this one than any of the others?
No, I don't think so. I think that probably the games against Dufour and Boston were probably the closest I've been checked during the playoffs this year. But, they were playing a physical game, the Oilers were, and, trying to take me away from my game, I guess. But, went out there tonight, got the winning goal, and that's certainly something I'm proud of, and I'm proud of the whole bunch of guys that are here. It's got to be the best cup that we've won so far, to beat the Oilers 4 straight, to come back from what everyone classified as a miserable season. I think the guys are very happy about this one.
I know you don't set goals for yourself, Mike, and I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth, but where does Stanley Cup 4 fit in with the overall game plan for Mike Bossy's career?
It's the best one I've won so far. The other 3 have been great. The first one was something new. It was exciting. The second and third ones were good. But this one, I think, to go out there and do it the way we did and to beat the team that was supposed to beat us in 4 straight games is certainly something that I'll remember the rest of my life.
Well, spend the summer enjoying yourself, learning new tricks. Come back and amaze us again next year.
I will, Jiggs. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Now down to the studio to Stan Fischler.
Okay, we'll be back with more in just a moment. You may never see a better center than the man on my right. I've seen him all since 1937. He tops the great Jean Beliveau. He can do more than Beliveau ever did. I don't think there's anybody I've ever seen who does so much. The total center, Brian Trottier, and
just the way I wrote it over there. Thank you.
Brian, tell me how this compares with the others.
for myself, Stan, it's probably the most emotional I've ever played, and I was caught up in a series where I could not control my emotions. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't relax. Felt like crying sometimes, and he said, God, I got to control this. It's terrible, but it was an enjoyable terrible because it's a type of pressure and emotion that you thrive on, and I enjoy it. It's not something I want to go through 12 months a year, but for something like the Stanley Cup, it's worth it. We were sitting on a keg of dynamite, and that keg of dynamite was the Edmonton Oilers, and we felt it rumbling. It's like sitting on the lid, and we felt it rumbling, and we were just saying, when's this thing going to explode? But there was enough of us sitting on there, that we got some heavy bodies, we got some key players that really contributed well for a Smitty. 200 pounds. It's a tough guy to move off a lid. We got Dave Langevin, 220. He come back from a knee injury. A tremendous amount of respect for the man. You got Kenny Morrow. He got 3 of the biggest goals that I think of his life in this series. He got the 2 empty net goals that kind of, relaxed it for us. It was tense out there, and he scored the 3rd goal the other night that kind of was the backbreaker for them in the 3rd game. You got the Sutters and the Bourne line. Those 3 guys did a tremendous amount in this playoff. They had a lot of weight to carry. Mike and I were sputtering a little bit. I wish I could have done more, but we were working our rear ends off out there. But they really pulled up the slack. You got Butchie Gore and the penalty killing units. Billy Carroll. The coaching staff, let me talk about them just for a second, Stan, if I can. Lauren Henning does not get the credit he deserves. That man is an intense man. He's smart. He takes a lot of abuse during the regular season about his dress and his bald head, but that man is he's going to be a great coach. He's smart. Al and Bill Torrey, geniuses. Mr. Pickett, he's around. He makes himself a likable man. The players have a lot of respect for him, and we kind of look at ourselves and we say we're such a reflection of these men. The wives go through so much abuse through these playoffs. We love you all. They're super people. Our kids, I dread being away from my kids, but for some odd reason, the Stanley Cup is worth it, Stan. It is worth it. And that's probably why. Maybe it's becoming so emotional is because I'm thinking about these things more, and being away from my family, going through the abuse of being away from them, and the long playoffs. But it's just comes down to it, it's worth it.
Greatness personified. Brian Trottier. And now back to Jiggs McDonald.
Thank you, Stan. Maybe one of the forgotten men in this series, but certainly not forgotten when it came time to voting for the Vezina Trophy. Roland Melanson didn't get a chance to play in the finals this year. It must have been fun sitting there watching your teammates and their efforts.
Well, Jiggs, it's been such a long year, I can't say how much I'm really happy for Billy Smith to go out there and do the job he did against the Edmonton Oilers. There's one thing you really have to appreciate about the Edmonton Oilers. They got a lot of character. They went out there and they never quit. Even going in the last minute, we scored the 4th goal, and they just kept coming back. Like it wasn't over. You just can't say enough about that Edmonton team. But Billy was he's probably played one of the best series he's ever played in his life, and I'm so happy for him and for the Islanders. It's just great to be part of this bunch of guys.
Well, I think I speak for all the Islander fans, and certainly for us who have watched you on Sports Channel all year. Your heroics, the way you handled yourself on the ice, the poise too, with knowing that you probably weren't going to get that much ice time in the playoffs. But like I said at the outset, congratulations on being named one of the 2 finalists for the Vezina Trophy. That in itself makes you very proud, I'm sure.
Yeah, like you said, Jiggs, it's it's been that type of year where it's been a grind from beginning to the end. We expected to play a little bit better during regular season, and things didn't fall in place for us, but we hung in there tough. We kept to our system. We said, well, we're going to win with this system. That's what brought us here. And it's like I said before, it's been an awful grind, but it's all worth it once it comes to the end, like it is now.
Just about as crowded as it is in the crease some nights in here right now. I'm going to let you go and enjoy the rest of the celebration.
Thank you very much, Jake.
Thanks, Roland. We'll be back with more from the New York Islanders Stanley Cup victory party following these messages.
New York Islanders took a 2-0 series lead back to Long Island. They beat the Oilers 6-3. Edmonton dominated the first 10 minutes. Oilers' Dave Semenko putting one through Billy Smith's legs at the 8:39 mark. The Islanders came back with 3 straight goals. This one by Mike Bossy, and it gave New York a 3-1 lead. In the second period, the Oilers' Yari Curry narrowed the lead to 3-2, but the Oilers came back. New York was to score 2 more goals, including one you'll see here by Brent Sutter, and New York led it 5-2 after 2. Glenn Anderson was able to score for Edmonton early in the third period and give the Oilers some hope. That made it 5-3. But the Isles added one more. Now watch some of the offside action. Goalie Smith trips Wayne Gretzky right here. Now that gets the Oiler players unhappy, and they mill around the goaltender. Glenn Anderson, who was slashed by Smith in game 1, takes a whack at the goalie. And then Oilers' Charlie Huddy spears Smith in the midsection. He drew a penalty for that. Anyway, it wound up by a 6-3 score. The Stanley Cup, the oldest professional sports trophy in North America, will not have to be moved because for the 4th straight year, and only the 2nd team in NHL history to win 4 straight cups, Montreal won 5 in a row in the late 50s, the New York Islanders completed a 4-game sweep of the Edmonton Oilers tonight. They won it 4-2. They outscored them 17-6, and they held Wayne Gretzky scoreless in the entire 4-game finals. 3 Islander goals in the mid-37 seconds. Most of the first period did most of the damage. Clark Gillies to Brian Trottier. He beat Andy Moog. 43 seconds later, Bob Nystrom fed John Tonelli, tipped it in 2-0. And 54 seconds later was Mike Bossy with a short wrist shot on a breakaway. 3-0 New York. Edmonton tried to come back. It was Gretzky setting up Yari Curry here to make it 3-1, right about there. Then Mark Messier scored a goal for Edmonton to make it 3-2 late in the period. But the Islanders added an empty net goal. They won it 4-2. Then there was the post-game celebration of carrying the Stanley Cup around the rink. Named MVP of the playoffs, the Islanders goalie Billy Smith, who was brilliant. And after the game, he had these comments.
Edmonton said a lot of things about us that provoked us so much that I think that was the reason that, you know, guys are in there crying right now with their injuries, but they wouldn't quit. They just said, no way, we're not quitting against this hockey team. And I think that was one of the main...
And it looks like child's play. Not even a minute later, a breakaway again for the high-scoring Mike Bossy, and just like that, it's 3-0. But the roof doesn't cave in. Edmonton scores seconds into the second period to change the complexion of the game. Then, with seconds left before the end of the period, the Oilers score again, and it's 3-2. However, in the final period, Edmonton pulls their goalie, and Ken Morrow hits the empty net. 4 championships in a row. The word dynasty certainly fits here, and the Islanders are champions of hockey.
Edmonton said a lot of things about us that provoked us so much that I think that was the reason that, you know, guys are in there crying right now with their injuries, but they wouldn't quit. They just said, no way, we're not quitting against this hockey team.
The proceeding has been a special presentation of ICENET, the Islanders Championship Entertainment Network.